Hi, this is Matthew Kenslow, and in this video I want to reflect on a propaganda poster I had to draw out for World History and Geography class 1 decade ago. As you see down here, February 25th to the 27th, 2011, period 4. And today is February 27th, 2021. So I just thought I'd do a little reflection here. This is a German propaganda poster right here. The teacher assigned us this project, and I go overboard. I always go overboard. I go overboard with everything, and even hoping that that some of my projects would be shared and reshared. Most of them never did, and most of them never got me up in front to talk about it, but I still went overboard anyway. So to begin, this is supposed to be propaganda, as if I was in between 1914 1918, and if I were to make a propaganda poster, this is what I would do. So I went through my history book and other additional readings to give me ideas of how on earth I'm supposed to do this. And it was like the day before the 25th, I believe. I was in Anaheim, and I saw one thing, and that kind of spearheaded the whole thing. I don't exactly remember what it was, but it was an inspiration. Now, just to start out with a disclaimer, just like I did in my other video, which I'll refer you to later on, I am not a history major. I love history, especially U.S. history and presidential history. So whatever I say, I don't take it to your class or your test and think I'm that accurate. I'm not certain, but I believe the Russians employed gas, and they had gas masks. That's what this is about right here. Russians, I looked up what their uniform looked like, and they're reaching for the gas masks, and one's putting them on. And here's a cloud of gas right here that's already consuming one person. If you notice, this apparition has like horns and a pointy nose and a bloody mouth and such, and the eyes are piccolobs. This is a piccolob up here too, if I pronounced that correctly. This is what the Germans wore right here. And if you look closely, this apparition is actually in the shape of Germany. The shape of Germany back in World War I actually looked like a scary monster with horns and a pointy nose and a wide open mouth. And so this would tell the person looking at the propaganda poster that Germany is up to something. Here is supposed to be the French, and the kepi hat kind of gives it away, and the uniform as well, and the mustache. Again, I looked up the uniform. I hope that's fairly accurate. And then here's the hospital. You could tell because of the Red Cross. And if you look, the hospital is expanding and growing and growing and growing, and there's injured people here, and there's loads of wood coming over here. This is to tell the person looking at the propaganda poster that the hospitals has to expand and expand and expand, meaning more and more and more deaths are coming. And then you have the trench warfare and barbed wire, but you have the trench warfare here, people in the trenches with their bayonets. And something that I learned in art history class the year prior is, and I found this interesting, a lot of artists hundreds and hundreds of years ago would direct your eyes around an image in zigzagged or circular motions. And so I used that as an advantage, and I'm not really going to trace it out, but what's supposed to happen is everything that you see right here, I think that's the M, if you direct your eyes in a certain way, it is supposed to spell Germany. So that's the N, there's the Y. So Germany is all over this picture, technically. And so today I found the original artwork, and in the back I translated what I had up on top in German. So if you look up here, and I'm not sure if I pronounced this correctly, it says Alles wegen einem Jaubischen Mann, and that's the pronunciation that I learned 10 years ago, so I hope you pronounced that correct. And that says, all because of a Serbian man, because back on June 28th, 1914, you had the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand and his wife by this group called the Black Hand. and it was from the group was from Serbia, and they went to Sarajevo, I believe. And the person, that incident spearheaded World War One. Like a month later, World War One was essentially declared. One country declared war on another country. And so that's the question, all because of a Serbian man. One Serbian man caused all of this. Well, I was in 10th grade and wasn't a scholar, so in this, but this is how I understood it. And then it kind of cuts off, but it says, Stappen Sie den Kampf, stappen den Mord an Hunderte von Tausenden, which means stop the fighting, stop the killing of hundreds upon hundreds of thousands. And then down here it says, Stop den Kampf. And then I can't pronounce what word I had here, but then it says, Frieden mit einander, which I'm saying stop the war, make peace with one another. And then here's the compass rose, and I really meant to put Norden here instead of north. And then, of course, I knew Gothic calligraphy, so again, I just went overboard. On the back, my teacher wrote, great artwork, 25 out of 25. What exactly is the reader of the poster supposed to do? Question mark. Well, 10 years later, I'm explaining what the reader is supposed to do, what it's supposed to say. Again, a lot of these I just hoped I would be able to go up in front. Maybe this picture's on the PowerPoint or I'm holding it up and I could just explain it, but most of the time that never happened in my school life. So especially when I got to like middle school and high school, I usually get compliments, and sometimes my artwork was on the wall for a month or all year, and but I never really got to talk about it. So here I'm getting to do it now because I wanted hundreds or millions of people to see it. Of course, my school only had a couple of thousands, but hey, I have YouTube and I like sharing, and that's all what the purpose is just to share, and I hope that you enjoy it. I will say this, it's strange that I put north here and then the sun is either rising or setting. If I were to orient this in a different way, I could probably recollect what I was thinking. I may have been thinking this to be sunrise, meaning this is just the beginning, instead of sunset, meaning, oh, it's going to end soon. Because I knew that the sun rose in the east and set in the west, but anyway, I guess I just needed to plan that soon. But if I were to change it, I would make this east, meaning morning, meaning it's just beginning. So, and hopefully that would just be like a to deader the war, to make people to think. But that's if I was alive a century ago. So I hope that you enjoyed this. 2 years to the day later, in anatomy class, which I went overboard there too, I drew 4 diagrams from February 26th to the 27th, 2013 of the heart and the lungs. So again, I went overboard. That wasn't really shown to anyone but the teacher and the TA, but you could see on one of those it got plus 40 out of 40. So I have a YouTube video up here of the slideshow, just in case you're interested. And one last thing, this isn't the only project. This is one of many projects for World History and Geography class. And one of them was the French Revolution project, like in November 2010. And that's when we had to create like a little story. And I created a very huge story, went overboard and all that. So if you're interested in that, I really invite you to watch that. If you want, I'll put it up here too, a link in the description of my French Revolution story. So anyway, stay strong. You don't have to, if you're in school, you don't have to go overboard. If you work hard and study, you shall do fine. So have a great day.